It's not a Twitch ad. Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning. We're up and running. I was late last night, but I made it here. Okay, change in plans, right? I talked about this yesterday. You've seen me working on this print. And that's going to be set aside again for a while. There's another change in plans as of 2 nights ago. I mentioned it yesterday. When we were at the party on Thursday night, she was there. Chon-san was there, the car, who's working with us. He's doing this year's subscription series. Anyway, I saw his hands. He's got a problem with one of his hands. His fingers are hugely swollen. His joints don't bend. We have no idea what is wrong. He still won't go to the doctor. But at the moment, he's off. He can't carve at the moment. And whether or not this is going to be an extended problem or just something temporary, I don't know. He's just a kid. He's 20-something, so there shouldn't be any joint problems. But anyway, the problem being, he's the carver who's been doing the subscription series for this year. He's working on the color blocks for number 3 at the moment, but there's a big question mark about what's happening coming up next. So I've got to take over number 4 right now, and I'm going to Canada on the 12th of February. So this is a little bit of a, not an emergency, but a quote shift in priorities here. And my other work for the moment's going aside, and I've got to get the full block set for number 4 ready and out for the printers so that they can get this done while I'm in Canada. While I'm in Canada, they won't be printing number 4, but we just got to make sure it's done. They will be printing number 3 during that time. But just about when I get back on the 23rd, number 4 should be about ready. And if Chon-san can't do it, we're in real big trouble. We have 200 subscribers this year, and we got to take care of them. So anyway, long story short, this is my job. So I've got a piece of wood here, a nice piece. We're going to do this one also on boxwood. I'm spending my capital here. We've got a bunch of these blocks. They were set aside for my own personal series. These have been prepared years and years ago. But right now we have no choice. We have this print needs to be done right now, and it's got to go right now. Paper is out. Yes, thank you very much. Just 2 sheets of paper, 2 packets of paper. Suga-san's paper and Lei-chan, she's coming in today. Suga-san is, what is she doing? She's doing the next print in the Mystique of the Japanese print series for me. And Lei-chan is doing some Patron chilies. This always confuses people when I'm pasting this down. I'm going to cut off the registration marks. It sort of doesn't seem to make any sense. But there's 2 ways to do this, and over the years I've found one of them much easier than the other. We've got a new block here, and the classical traditional way is to do this. Just paste this thing face down, image area, and the registration marks. Just paste them face down. And then you cut the image, you cut the registration marks, and away you go. But when you put the chisel in for cutting registration marks, because it's not a V shape, it's flat on one side and beveled on the other side, it always tends to push you one way a little bit. The registration marks don't cut in exactly the place you think they're being cut. So what we've done over the years is what I'll do now is I'll cut the registration marks first in the block. I'll cut where I want them to go in the block. Then I will now cut them off here. We don't need them here, and I will just put the paper in place. So of course that means I have to cut this paper here exactly, perfectly on the registration marks. So the edge of the paper itself becomes the new registration mark. So you get my point, huh? The edge of the paper itself is the mark. Do I have a backup? No, I have no backup, of course. My backup is death. There's no backup here for me. I'm alive. As long as I'm alive, I can do things. If I'm not alive, I won't do things. I have no backup. This is part of our plan for this company, right? To get the company stabilized, to get enough people doing different jobs, so that we're not dependent on individuals for doing stuff. Hang on, it's going to be noisy in this box. I've got to try and find my little corner marker. Excuse me, just a second. Got it. No, back up. It's a long-term plan to grow this organization to a large enough group that there's many people doing each job. And that becomes the backup. And Toyota doesn't worry about backups because they got so many people building stuff, you know. And Johnstown is part of the backup plan here, but it turns out that the backup is going down before the main one, so I don't know. If it is a permanent problem from him, then yeah, we do have a really serious issue, because he is the good carver who is the next generation carver here. And if he can't do that for the future, then yeah, we have no real plan B. Okay, Etone. I'm going to make a tap here. And those of you who've seen this before, you know what's going on. I'm not even on camera, so I'll explain in a minute. There's something else going on my desk here that's changed. And just give me a minute, I'll explain in a second. Okay, we're going to tap. For those of you who have headphones on, be careful. I'm going to make a short, sharp, single noise. This is a hard boxwood block. I'm going to bang into it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. End of noise. So things have changed here. Just I'll explain in a minute. Let me just get this corner thing up, get this pasted down. Okay, as I was saying a moment ago, the edge of the paper has now become the actual registration mark. We're treating this design sheet, the Hansta, just as though it was a print itself. The paper at this part is cut to the same size as our finished print will be. The image is laid in the same area we expect the print, the design to be. And we're just going to paste it down. And this becomes the key for the whole design. Now, having said that, actually, I think I have a small problem here. This is the first of the series that we're doing in a horizontal format. There's something I'd better address. I think I've forgotten about this. Just a minute. We've been doing these prints in vertical, and we left an extra space on the left-hand side for the names of the craftsmen. And we didn't really leave too much space at the bottom for the name of the title. Now this one, because I just turned my Photoshop file sideways, now it doesn't have enough space at the bottom. And we don't need the extra space at the top because there's no craftsmen's names, but we do need that space. How are we going to do this? I think we'll need to put the craftsmen's names at the right-hand side. So they will go out here. But we need the title at the bottom, and we have to raise the bottom margin. I didn't think about that. We have to lift the bottom margin a millimeter or so. I didn't think about that. Okay, so I better glue this in here a little bit higher than what I just cut. Okay. I'm going to finish trimming the print here. Sorry, just thinking here before I screw this up even more. Just thinking about how this is going to have to work. We do need a bigger margin on the bottom. So when I was preparing the Photoshop file last night, I should have left a bigger margin. So tell you what, let me get, let's see. Let me go get some glue stick. Hang on a second, back in a moment. Good, good, good. Okay, okay. What I've done, I'm going to move the image up so there's more room at the bottom when it comes time later to put the title in the bottom here. And I'll change my Photoshop file to match this. Sorry about the confusion. Okay, let's go. Let's stick this down. Stick it down and get carving. As with all the key block lines, we're not going to use the soft, light paste that we do to put this down, because there's lots of thin lines on this. And if the paste is too soft, then when we're carving the second side of a line, they tend to peel off and flip off. So for the key block job, I'm going to use a normal wood glue. Not seeing questions here, I'm sorry, just a sec. Check and see what's happening over here. Can the title go to the top? I don't think so, I don't think so, I don't think so. This print, it's not secret. I think Jed Instagrammed it a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, when we first got it organized. So I don't have an image of this ready to show you here, but it's on Jed's Instagram page, going back XX weeks. This is a subscription print for April. It'll be cherries, but we're going to do Yozakura, night cherries. And as always, or not as always, but as we like to try and do as much as possible, we're going to try and play with light. We want these prints to have a light focus. This wood glue on a wet block mixed with a bit of finger licking and stuff, so this is not strong glue, this is quite diluted with a bit of water here. And I think we got it just about right. Too much and it grabs the paper. Too much, not enough, of course. Nice piece of wood, beautiful hard boxwood. It's been sleeping and waiting for me for many, many years. The backing sheet's coming off, leaving just the gummy paper. Well, now we're ready. Are the judges ready? I'm a bit constrained here. I've got this giant thing in front of me here. I should explain what's going on. Well, no, let's explain it. Just get this damn thing out of the way. It doesn't go out of the way anymore. So we could use that, you know. There's enough Gampi paper left there. We could do the same thing again. We could print on this and do it again. That's how much comes off. So you see the design. Has anybody got the link to Jed's Insta? Has he found it? So, of course, it doesn't really look like much at this stage. This is typical with many Shin-Hanga prints. This is not ukiyo-e. There's no fine lines that define everything in the whole print. There's a few objects that are going to be defined by lines, the fence, the shape of the shrine and stuff. But most of the print will be defined and delineated by the color blocks itself. Okay, so here we go. I'm on deadline now. This has to be finished, the whole block set. There's going to be 8 blocks. It's going to be the key block and 4 both sides. No. Yeah, 4 blocks including the key block on both sides. So let's get going. And then the other part of the thing to mention today is the microscope. We've been chatting about this for a long time. I've changed my scope. I've got a new microscope here now. I've been using up to now a Meiji EMZ series, the level 5. It's about a 20-year-old or 25-year-old scope. It's done really, really nicely, really, really well. And nothing wrong with it. I would still be using it, except that we have something else coming on board here. This is our new scope. It has 2 eyepieces, one for my left eye, one for my right eye, and it has in the back a camera mount. I don't yet have the attachment, so don't get excited. This isn't happening today. I'm just getting this thing all set up bit by bit by bit. It's been a while actually. This is a scope. It's got a whole different set of lenses and stuff, so we've had to, it's taken a real batch of thing to get it set up. We had to get a special lens attachment for the bottom of it here to make the thing not so powerful. It was too powerful, and in order to see what I was carving, it had to be like a foot above the workstation, and I just couldn't, it was too far away. So we got a lens attachment for it. I can show you. It screws in the bottom here. We've got an attachment for this thing, and it cuts it down to only half as strong as it should be. And I've already got it set for the lowest possible magnification here, but this cuts it down. Here it is. It's 0.5. It cuts it down by half. It makes it even weaker. But by doing that, it means I can bring it down and see a reasonable amount of stuff on the block without having to stretch and sit upstairs. And I think I'd like an 0.75, but that's all we could find on the market here. So the scope is ready, the cut down lens is ready. What's not ready yet is the camera attachment. I've ordered a bunch of them, and they're not here yet from Amazon. So if that goes well, sometime over the next week, we'll be taking this camera and leaving it alone, and taking another camera and putting it down through the scope. We will see. I shouldn't be promising this because I still don't know if I can make it work. Yeah, this print is now, it's for the April print in this year's series. And it's time for me now to just shut up and get to work. This is all new. Where's the setup going to go? I have to stretch my back now. This is going to keep my posture. I was hunched over too much before. Are we good? Looks like we're good. So, new posture, new setup. It's going to take a while to get used to this. I think it's going to be better for me though, instead of hunched over, sitting up straight. All right, let's go. Let's try this. Let's start with some easy stuff. Start with some easy stuff. yesterday evening, and when he shut the shop here at 6 o'clock or so, I didn't go out for dinner. I wanted to get that video thing done last night, so. But I ran out of time, So there's some editing stuff in that video that just should have been fixed, but I knew this job was coming up today and that I don't have time for that, so I just put it up anyway. There was a few editing glitches in it. Right at the very beginning of the video I screwed up, I put the cold open in and I forgot to leave the ambient noise out. Whenever I do the B-roll and those things, I cut out most of the background noise and I just do a voiceover. And that one, the cold open part, didn't have a voiceover, so I should have left the ambient sound in, opening that envelope and unwrapping it and stuff. So everybody and his dog who watches that video turns it on now. They think their sound is broken or just turned off or something, so. Way to start a video and making people confused, That doesn't actually go through there, so. Sure, what to go next here. Yeah, there's different things mixed up. These subscription prints, they're in a Shin-Hanga style. They're not really based on delicate line work. So there's competing factors in play here. For the line work, we do need a piece of harder wood, and that's for a couple of reasons. It's because harder wood will let us carve delicate fine lines, but harder wood also lasts longer. And with a print like this year's subscription series, it's more important for us right now that these last a long time than that they carve really fine lines. The subscription series is not going to have delicate hair here and there. It's got lines, but they're not all that fine. So a medium block would be okay for them, but that block wouldn't last a long time. So it's a different factor that comes into play here. Obviously, with this series being sold out right away at the beginning, it's clearly going to be a steady seller for many, many, many years, assuming we don't screw it up and we get good designs all the way through. So what's become more important, actually, suddenly to us, is rather than having the ability to carve fine lines, we need a block that's going to last a long time. So that's why for this one now, I've pulled out of our storage room a boxwood block that I really wanted to keep. I did not want to be using this block now. I wanted to keep it for when we have an ukiyo-e print, which has super fine resolution. But the priority now of having a block for this series that will last a generation, that's become more of a priority. So there's different factors that compete here, and they come and go. The Yoshida people with their prints, the ones we're still reprinting now, nearly all their Shin-Hanga prints are done with metal key blocks. And for them, there's a few factors. One, for them, they don't need fine line carving because the Yoshida Shin-Hanga prints are kind of blurry and they're mostly about the color. And second, they just want to keep the cost down. Instead of paying a carver, you just pay a printing company and bang, it's done in a few minutes. And then they want longevity. Instead of a wooden key block, the metal key blocks will last basically forever. So nearly all the Yoshida prints, the Toshi Yoshida prints we put out in our shop here, they're made in the Yoshida family workshop on metal key blocks. And if Moko Hankan had decided to go that route with these prints with jet, there would have been that tradition. But I don't want to become known as the place that uses metal blocks. You know, we like doing it this way. But the downside is they're going to wear out. You know. So sometimes the stories I tell you and things are a bit contradictory, but there are many competing factors in these things. You know. This is a hard piece of wood. I love it. See there, the little white spot? That's where part of the tracing is already pulled off the wood. I wonder if my glue is strong enough. That's what happens. You cut one side, and when you start to cut the other side, if the glue isn't strong enough, the tracing pulls off. Now, luckily, that after it pulled off, I was already cut both sides, but I've got to be careful with this block, I think. The glue may not be quite strong enough. I may have diluted it a bit too much. Or, yeah, it's because of the boxwood. It's so hard, the glue didn't soak in enough, you know. We'll see how it goes. Also, if you remind me, I got a bit of show and tell. We got a little package yesterday. It's actually related to yesterday's David's Choice video. Just a bit of coincidence, a auction package came in yesterday of some more prints of the same kind that I introduced in the video yesterday, last night. Today for you guys, I guess. Is it easier to source than cherry? No. There's lots of availability, but it's all small. It's just too small. A piece this wide, No, it's very, very rare. This is what I was really, I didn't want to use this for a project like this. So. Low in cherry blocks, yes. If I hadn't some nice, really good hard cherry blocks, that's what I would be using for this. But I don't, so here we are. I'm eating my capital. I'm digging into some boxwood blocks that we've had hanging around for a while. And I do not want to do this, but Shogunai. I'm not supposed to say that, just a minute. It's a bit of an emergency situation. Aoyama-san was going to be getting the blocks ready for this print while John-san was carving the third one. But we can't wait. It's got to be started right now. So. Oh, I hear somebody going up the stairs behind me. Bisuga-san, I guess. She didn't have a good day yesterday. She's just finished up, the Ukiyo-e Heroes print, Two Souls Entwined. That's finished. That went well. No problem there at all. She finished that. Then because one job was finishing, it was time to do some paper preparation and test printing on the next job. And what she was scheduled for was the Mystique of the Japanese reprintings that we're doing. And she's been doing them off and on. Kubota-san has done some of them, Yamamoto-kun has done some of them, and Sugita has done a couple of them. She's done a really nice job. But the current pair that is on the desk to be done now is numbers, it's 15 and 16 in the Mystique series. And one of those is a Chinese image, Chinese floral image. And it's okay, it's very, very detailed, but it's okay, something she could do. But paired with it is what has probably been the most difficult print I ever made when I was making prints by myself. We talked about this yesterday, the 15th print in the Mystique series. Anyway, she did her test printing yesterday on the boxwood block and color printing and whatever, and she wasn't happy when she came to me, and it's kind of clear. I don't want to insult her here, but she's not ready for that one yet. It's really, really, really difficult, and she's not ready for it. And she got sort of a print okay, but it wasn't a good print, and it's clear that even if she did press ahead with it, most of them would be spoiled. There's just, she might be able to get some, but most would be spoiled. So we have to move on to plan B. We're going to send her off on her next work, and in the meantime I have to figure out how to reschedule that job. And there's no printers in the building here, Ishikawa-san or Sugu-san or Dei-chan, who can do that level of work yet. So it's going to have to go outside to Kubota-san, I guess, or Yamamoto-kun, and they're both really, really busy. Yamamoto-san just sent back a batch of great waves. You saw me checking them yesterday or the day before, and he's now already busy. He's hard at work on a group of rickshaw cart prints because we are desperately out of stock of the rickshaw cart print design, the first one in the Ukiyo Heroes. And now we're just scrambling to figure out how to assign printers to different jobs. It's February, so this should be our time to stock up on all of the popular prints in the shop. You know, we've got prints that are just really hugely popular, the Stork and the Rain, Peony and Sparrow, stuff like this. And we're running out of stock on them, and it's February. It's time to print more for March, April, May. And we have no printers to do that. So. The thing that killed her on that one, number 15, was the hair. The hair's on 3 blocks. There's the key block itself, which has the finest hair, just, you know, at the edge of her face there, the delicate hairs carved in swirls. Then below that, there's a gray block, because we can't print the key block in rich black. for obvious reasons. Those delicate hairs have to be printed in light grey. And that sometimes prints have two blocks for the hair, a light grey one and then a dark black one on top. That one has three levels. There's the light grey hair itself, and then you can see at the borders of that hair an undertone of grey. Then there's the overtone of the rich black on the hair. And the problem part is the two blocks, the grey and the over one, have to end in a gradation at the side of her face. And the blocks are carved in a block gradation. That's not enough. They've got to be wiped. And as you put the grey on, or the black on, depending which block you're using, you have to fuzz it up at the edges with your finger or a wet tissue or something. And it's really, really difficult to get them consistent. And she tried yesterday and just stumbled around. And it was clear it wasn't going to happen, so no problem. She's still young. She'll get it later. Am I centered well? I don't know. I'm not used to this new scope here. So. Question here. Oh, so also, speaking about questions, reminds me, I know the last couple of days after the stream's been over, I've been looking at other stuff on the computer. I see a message in my box. There's been questions on the last two streams, I think, which I didn't notice, I didn't hear. So I checked my mail setup this morning, and yeah, it is working. When people put a question in the Twitch box, it should make a sound, but I didn't actually hear it the last couple of days. So either it was just a background noise or something. So I apologize. There's been questions during the stream the past couple of days, but I didn't catch them and hear them. So if anybody's doing this, if you're sending a question to the box and I don't get it, perhaps a remind in the chat here. So something's different from the way I cut from cherry wood. I'm not quite sure. I'm being really gunshot. I'm trying to avoid going around sharp corners. I'm trying to keep the cuts fairly short. I'm a little bit shallow. So yeah, maybe so. I'm gun shy, expecting that the knife may actually break much more easily than it does normally. So I wouldn't have thought that was visible to a viewer, but I am being a bit shy here. Or what's the word? Just being more careful. And that's why too, the part of the design I've started here, I didn't start with the curly cherry trees here. I started with what's basically straight lines. It's on the curves and corners that you get the biggest chance of breakage, and as you will see, no doubt, when I get there later on in this process. This is supposed to be ready before I leave for Vancouver on the 12th, and there's no way, if I just have Twitch time, 90 minutes each day with chatting, there's no way I'll get this whole box set finished. So I'm going to be also working on this at other times during the night and stuff. Otherwise it'll never get done, not just on 90 minutes a day. Not possible. What's our time here? What's going on? I'm not getting, there will be no visitors here to remind me. Cameron's not in today, of course. It's Sunday, so. Should we look at that stuff that I got yesterday? And I'm not sure. It's pretty much the same as the video you just saw, so I'm not sure if there's any meaning for it. But yeah, let's take a look. Hang on a sec. Finish this corner. Okay. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Yeah, right. It is, of course, difficult to carve when the shop's open. I really can't do it. We can, I show. People ask, and I sit down, I go chop, and show. But I can't do what I'm doing now. Sit here. Oh, it's Saturday. Soka. Sorry about that. Whatever. Anyway. Saturday. Cameron's not here. Saturday, Sunday, whatever. No difference. So sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know what day it is. Okay. But let's do this. That's a monster. It's much bigger than the old scope. I liked that old scope, it was really nice, but I haven't thrown it away. We just swapped it out for now. And if this trinaural thing, if this camera mount doesn't work, we'll swap back to the old one. Okay. Here we are. This package came. It was on Yahoo Auctions. This was not through the dealer auctions. This was Yahoo Auctions, and it was from a dealer who sold lots of Matsushima. Thank you. Hey, good. Thank you very much. Good. Nice. That was out of print for a whole bunch of long time. So. The guy who put this up on auctions, I was able to score this really cheaply because he didn't describe it well. He didn't, people are searching every night, not just me on Yahoo Auctions, for woodblock prints, mokohanga, ukiyo-e, all kinds of prints. So there's always competition when stuff comes up on Yahoo Auctions. There's always lots and lots of competition. It's not just me who's looking for stuff. But I've got a lot of experience now, and I've learned about some fairly obscure keywords. Now what I mean is this: when people get stuff, they don't know what it is. They don't know that it's an old woodblock print, match label or whatever. They just have this stuff, and they try and just describe it and put it up on Yahoo Auctions. And I've learned this by asking people, and we tried an experiment here on some of the less experienced staff and on people in the shop. Just for example, I would show them this and say, what do you think this is? And based on the responses I got from that, from a person who doesn't know what it is, what they said, I put some of these things in as search terms in the auction sites, and boom, what do you know, stuff like this pops up. So if you're searching for mokuhanga, you may find this only if the person who put it up knew that it was mokuhanga. Anyway, I don't want to give away my search techniques here. Point being, this one came up that way. The guy put a whole bunch of stuff up last week, this week. He's got a whole bunch up. He's dropping them out bit by bit. After I got the first two auctions, I wrote to him, said, look, just let's do this directly. He said, nope, he's going to put them up on auction. But after that, I kept quiet. Let's have a look at a few of these. What they are, I quickly sorted them out last night. So I've got them broken into a couple of groups here. There's way too many to show all, but let's just put a couple of these out here. What they are, if you saw last night's video, you'll know that these little match label type prints come basically in sets. They were made to commemorate a certain something, or they were made in, whatever. I can't explain the whole thing all of them. These are in groups, and these are all to do with, it seems, they're definitely kabuki and plays. This is no, not kabuki. They're definitely related to the theater, and some of them are related to Tennoji Temple in Osaka. But that might just be the name of the play, Shinsaku, the new thing we've made. And I think these are all kabuki plays. That's not kabuki, but... And these are well made. These are match labels at a level up. Let me try and zoom in and see some of these. The carving this particular set I've got right here, the carving is way more refined than a typical match label print is. Some of the ones I showed in the video last night. I mean, come on, look at that calligraphy. There's my fingernail. That calligraphy, all those characters are carved within the space of my fingernail. Give me a break. And I haven't done any research on these yet. These are just brand new in the shop here. And these will not be in our shop for sale. This is going in our personal collection, of course. I'm not sure that we get stuff like this. Now and then in these packages, there's things like this. There's 2 copies of one of the labels, you know. So we could maybe put some of these doubles in the shop. I don't know. Don't get excited. I'm not sure what to do with this yet. There's a date on some of these. Just let me get to it. There's a date on one part of this package I quickly shuffled through yesterday. There's a date. Where are we here? Where are we here? Here, this one. This says Showa 14, and they really seem to be all of a type and of a style. What's Showa 14? I was born in Showa 26. That was 1951, so that's 12 years before that. 1939. This is 39. There's actually a war on now. Japan is at war with China in 1939. There's actual fighting and stuff going on. The war with America hadn't started yet, but Japan is actually at war at this time. That's a small little group there. That looks a bit out. I think maybe there was a no scene inside a kabuki play. Who knows? I don't know. Let's just take a few of these. This whole next group. Yeah, you saw that last one. There was a misregistration on that to print to show. So, and these look like now. This is the cast of characters, clearly, of some kind of. I say kabuki. It may not actually be official danjuro type kabuki. It could be just simply theater. So I should be more careful with how I use my words here. And we have a cast of characters of a play of some kind. And there's probably lots of information about this. If we go back to that time span, 1939, and look up the title of the play, and these guys, the actors' names are all here. I cannot read them, of course, I'm sorry. But there will clearly be information about this stuff out there. Whether it's on the net in English is a different story, but there will be information out here in Japanese. So this is searchable. So this is the cast of characters of some kind of a play. You can even tell sort of who are the good guys and who are the bad guys. I'm not sure what else I can say about them. I can't give you much information on the I haven't done any research on them yet as to who they are. At the moment, all I can do is simply share a beautiful small object. There's really not much more to it than that. It's that the culture had so many. Here's the next group starting, so let's keep that separate. This would have been this play. The next one starting. This is a different play. It was just a culture. There were so many carvers and printers still left working from the old days. This is all gone now. Somebody asked on the YouTube comments last night, are small match label prints like this still being made? And there is a bit of a struggle. Some people are still trying to do it. And we talked about this last week. Kawai-san, one of our printers upstairs, is actually doing a current batch of tiny small labels. Nothing anywhere near as intricate as this. It's a group of labels, 5 in a group with some people's names on them. And I think there's about 150 people in the group, one of these old collector's circles. And all they're basically getting is a small little print with their name on it. There's no imagery. And even that, they paid just a small amount of money, and there's not enough to even pay Kawai-san to do the job. I'm jumping in to sponsor him to help do it. Yes, somebody's mentioning Shiba Heroes. That's why we did that series. We ourselves at Mokuhankan, it's in our catalog. If you Google in the Mokuhankan catalog for Senshafda, I tried a bunch of years ago, 10 years ago, to publish a group of Senshafda prints, and it just didn't fly. We didn't have good YouTube strength back then. And if I did it again, probably there would be a way to make it go. But they don't add up financially. There's so much detailed carving, so much detailed printing. You know, our postcard prints on the wall over there, we sell them for 3,000 yen each. And there's about the same level of carving and printing as there is in this little print. Are you going to pay 3,000 yen for this in a set of 12? It's hundreds of dollars. It's just not economically feasible anymore, you know. Even if we had carvers and printers time. It was only possible when there was dozens and dozens and dozens of craftsmen who were willing to work for next to nothing in the pre-war era, when it was not it was a third world country still. It wasn't a normal country. So no, it's not really something that can be brought back to life, I don't think. It's not going to focus. So. Well, no, you're talking about selling them in packs, but it's the other way around. You know, that's when the value goes the other way. We sell our Hunger Club prints for 3,000 yen each. But if I put them in a set of 10, that's $300. No one's going to do it. Look, it's the same thing. Look, let me show you this. This is unrelated to the, no. Here, this. Where is it? I put it. What did I do with it? I got a box of prints. Hang on, let me find this. This is the same point to make. Oh, Kawai-san's arriving. It's at that time. My God, I've used the whole morning here. But I hadn't meant to show this on stream, but it illustrates the same point here. Let me get that other stuff safely out of the way. Hang on a sec. 100 or so match label prints. I don't dare tell you what I paid for them, or you'll just get so angry. Anyway, they're not going in the shop anyway, so it's irrelevant. So. But this, we got this, and what do I do with it? It's the Tokaido set of prints, okay? Now we get lots of the bigger sets all the time. Some of them are foxed, we bust them up, put them in the shop. There's very few sets. Here we are, look at this. It says Tokaido 53 Stations Miniature Edition. And this would have been, I don't know. Again, it's post-war, 60s, 70s, during that big, big boom, boom, boom time. And there's a conundrum here. There's 55 woodblock prints in this package. Here we are. Here's the first one. This is Nihonbashi. It's a miniature version of the Tokaido set. And it's a woodblock print. Now, it's not fabulously, stupendously wonderful quality, but it's okay. They're woodblock prints. They're okay. Now, our own shop here, we sell our own postcard size prints, carefully made, 6, 7, 8 colors. We sell them for 3,000 yen, and they pretty much barely break even. They supply work for the less experienced printers and part of the rent for the shop and such and such and such. There's no margin in those small prints over there like that. Anyway, there it is. So it's postcard size print, 3,000 yen. Here's a print of exactly the same size. This has way more colors. This is 12, 13, 14, 15 colors, gradations, 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 made in an era when craftsmen were dirt cheap. Now, what do I do with this? There's a set of 55 of them. If this sold for 3,000 yen, the same price that we do for our other series, anybody got a calculator? 3,000 times 55, it's $1,500. Nobody is going to pay $1,500 for this set of prints. I don't think it's actually worth $1,500. What do we do with this? I said, the closer you zoom in, the closer you see there's tiny bits of misregistration. It's not gorgeously delicate detailed carving. These are a little bit rough. These are a little bit rough, but they're beautiful little objects. They are actual handmade woodblock prints. So the common sense thing to do, it really is to break the set and put them in the shop one by one. And people are going to get upset. Oh my God, it's an antique. It shouldn't be broken up. It should be preserved as a single object. But there's a few factors. If you preserve this as a single object, honestly speaking, nobody's ever going to see these prints. I mean, this has been sitting on some bookshelf for 60 years, and I got to tell you, nobody absolutely has gone through, look at one, look at two, study it, look at it, drink it. Keeping it together means it stays as an object, but it has no use for society. Nobody will ever see it. If we broke this up, put them in the shop for, say, $15 each or something, they will over time scatter to the winds to people who will say, oh my God, look what I got this nice enjoyable little print from Japan. They will be looked at, they will be touched and felt and used. But it means breaking a set. I don't know. We have a clear rule here at Mokankan. We never, ever, ever break up books, objects that are physically bound together, that are single objects. We never do that and never will. But a set of prints like this, Kai-san, do you see? Hello, say hello.
Hello.
Tokaido set. 高見沢じゃない。誰が出したかちょっとわからないですが。もう結構綺麗でしょ。面白いこと、このあんまり綺麗な紙じゃないですが、次のものはいい紙ですが、すりはちょっと、だから本当に一枚ずつの違う感じですね。紙が違いますし、すりも違う、絵の具も違う。本当にセットじゃないかな。そう。
工房に任せてた。
わかんない。まあ、すりにバラバラに頼んだかわからないです。
かなり差がでもあります。最初の多分日本橋だけ先頭だから。
そう。But they're nicely done, though. Nicely made. So these different. So it varies. The first one we saw, Nihonbashi, it's actually a cheap white paper. It's not such a really nice paper for the first one. The second one has a really, really nice delicate paper. It's not high class Hosho paper, but it's okay. It's nice washi. It comes through in the back much more. What do we do with it? I don't know. 1枚でしょ ?3000 円はがきサイズでしょ、3000円ですから55枚でしょで15万円15万払う人いないよ。その価値もないです、
手間はかかってたけどね、だからもう今でももうあれですよね、他のところでジャンクはがき僕らがあれもでも成り立たないというか、釣り度数でこれもすごい大変ですので結構いくって細かいところもあるし、それで検討。
でもこの時代の職人がもちろん早かったでしょう。
やっぱスピードとかまあ。
そう、speed. The printers were just so fast. The printers would just blast through this. もう every color. There's no color here that would take more than 30 seconds. もう一色ぐらい30秒でしょ。20秒か30秒か。
みんな多分標準にしてそんぐらい、スピードも速くて、
この小さな青とこでしょ、ちょもう10 seconds per color でしょ for a little group like that, right? You wouldn't even let go of the brush. Keep the brush, put it over, hold the paper, flip it, put the brush. You wouldn't even put the brush down. You'd hold it in 2 fingers and hold the paper with 2 fingers. You're printing a little tiny area like this. You saw me yesterday when I did that video showing those printing on the 2 small prints. I took my time with that, but if it was a production environment, bang, 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 bang.
原価を下げるんだけど、やっぱすりのスピードですり金と効率化をするっていうので、まあすり師とかのあれもありますね。
今の河合さんがやってる小さな作品ですね。もう本当にgood testでしょ。だからやりたくない、お金もあまりないんですが、じゃあ自分のペースを上げるために時計を用意して、1秒針がある時計を用意して、自分のチャレンジでしょ。だから久保田さんはやったよ、そう話しましたよ。彼が最初の1週間の間にまだ経験、1週間の間にじゃないです。マスターが6時までやってください。時計を見ながら6時までやっててください。 合わない。6時まで。だからが、キャッキャッキャッキャッキャッキャッ。
そういう訓練をしてる。
ケントにちゃんと合わせて、絵の具の量をちゃんと置いて、多分問題は、レイちゃんはよく伸ばして、伸ばして、伸ばして、伸ばして、ハケで伸ばして、じゃないよ。ちょっとパッパッ、チュッチュッチュッチュッチュッ。これだけです。
いかにカットしていくか。僕、まあ、慣れて、やっぱりでも長くもうちょっとやらないとって思っちゃうんですよね、やっぱりね。その辺の、ハスイの、誰だっけ、ハスイの映像を見たとき、全然はけ引きしなかった。シュッシュッシュッシュッぐらいで、なんか。
まあ、絵の具の量多かったかな。そう。I bet you these prints haven't been exposed. You know, they're from 60 years old, but nobody would ever have gone through one by one, even looked at them. Anyway, what time is it? Oh my God, 9:25. We have to get going. It's the weekend here. We're low staff in the shop. How did they keep the gradients at the top so thin? No. ゼロですね。そう。来週も0。だから chance to get some work done. So.
ごめんなさい、来週来ないです。
No, 12日から。でも、この仕事は行く前に終わらないとダメですね。ジョンさんが今病気で掘ることできないです。そう。いや、じゃなくて手が変になって。本当だから分かんない。だから第4作品僕やらないとダメです。カナダ行く前。The gradation is a normal gradation. It's not a block gradation. That sky blue would have been done on the sky block, and we use a tiny brush. And these are trouble. They're difficult, well, for us. And inside the tiny brush that's not even 10 centimeters, 10 millimeters wide, we would do the gradation. It's a normal gradation.
もしやったら
今もうこれから終わり。
ありますか？する時間とかあります？それともなんかこっちの店のパッキングとかした方がいいですか？
ないです。フリーマーケットパッキングないですよ。だから多分客も少ない。でも僕はここに座って掘って、2人で小泉さんと
今日森さんと北村さんなんですけど、もしパーティーとかあれだったら
ちょっと今日3人ですか
？3人ですよ。
小泉さん、森さん、北村さん。
小泉氏いないんですよ今日。だからよくわかんない。僕はどう北村さんって書いてあるから森さん、北村、河合になってるんですよ。
じゃあパーティーないでしょ。
ないんですよね。
じゃあ
大丈夫ですか？
どっちでもいいんですか？
紙出して今ちょっと朝掃除して。
Okay. Good. Go on, sorry, 6 conversations going on at the same time, so. Yeah, that's an idea. Sets of 5 or something. That might be a good idea, you know. That might not be a bad idea. I know the thing is too, remember there's popular ones and there's not so popular ones. And even here too, there's really nicely made ones and there's some that are not quite so nicely made, you know. Yeah, that might not be a bad idea in groups, ne? So there's boring ones like this and interesting ones like this. So we could get a collection, groups of 5. Okay, I'll think about that. Very good. Good idea. Thank you. For the moment, though, I have got to get out of here. We have to clean up the shop, get ready for the opening in 3 minutes. Not that it's going to be busy today. A full collection in good quality, the large version, that's a different story. There's demand for that. There's not so much demand for stuff like this, but there is demand for the large ones. And in fact, we have a bunch of sets here ready to go into the flea market. We just haven't had time to do that. So over the next few weeks and months, we are going to be putting some real Tokaido sets up into our flea market. A prime set of a major publisher, Takamizawa, of the full set in good condition with no foxing, that's a couple of $1,000, pushing $3,000 easily. What I have to pay for it in the dealer markets. A full set with no foxing at full size. No, that's a few $1,000s. We've got a few sets and we're going to try and organize that over the next few weeks. Anyway, here we go. It's a bit scattered stream today, I'm sorry. But you can see where we're at. The next week or so now, for me, these streams are going to be, you know what's going to be happening. They're going to be complete repetitive streams of this. I am going to be carving this block, and when it's finished, the color blocks. These are going to be the streams until February 12th. There will also probably be a sizing stream because I've got to size a bunch of paper before I go, but I am now under the gun to get this done. I got a few centimeters done, and if the shop's quiet, I will sit here today and get a bunch more. Okay, I'm out of here, gang. See you tomorrow morning, same time, same station, on the real Sunday for some more of this carving. Thanks very much. Sorry for the scattershot, and thanks for the new video, watching the new video. Nice comments from a lot of people. That's going to be fun the next few days. It's my favorite time. New YouTube video goes up and I get flooded with nice comments. Feeds the ego. Always feels fun. Okay, thanks very much. Bye-bye. I'm out of here. Is Jed here? Has he seen this? We're up and running on this one. Okay, let's go.